Coming up, a Sad Styles production. Get into it!
It's amazing, though. I used to hate Pac-Man. Like, I just as a game, or all those old arcade games, they would just, like, grind on me. I'd be like, fuck, I don't want to play. Like a high school dance. Yes, grinding on me. Exactly. Up, shoulder width apart. Or what do they say? They leave space for the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. Wow, very good. Yes.
Yeah. I didn't go to Catholic school.
I do like that we branded from Holy Ghost to Holy Spirit, because Ghost, too spooky.
I'm not leaving space for a
your
ghost.
Lord and Savior, the Ghost? No, thank you. Ghosts are real.
I had
coming for you to save your soul. It's getting worse.
I had another moment up at the cottage where we were sitting at the dinner table, and my parents had some
just
guests,
like Jesus.
just like Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was facing this way, my dad was facing this way.
Reaching, one was handing.
Exactly. Yeah. I was turning water into fish. I was just skipping a couple steps.
I don't understand it.
And the bathroom door just shut on its own, and my mom says, "Hi, Jack." And I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? And she tells the story to our guests who hadn't been up there before, and she's like, well, when a door closes in our cabin, they say that's Jack, who had a heart attack on this island, and he's the ghost that likes to close doors and cabinets and stuff. So you say, hi, Jack, and that's it. And I'm like, Mom, that giant screen door is open right now. I think, and you're like, yeah, but what are the chances the wind's going to come and blow? And I'm like, you think there's a higher chance that it's a dead person closing our doors for no reason than the fact that the wind came in?
Well, she looks over at the screen door and she's like, I never opened that door. Hi, Jack. Jack opened the one door so you could close the other, much like Jesus. Welcome to the Retrograde
podcast, where we remind you what you used to love and whether or not you still should.
I'm Andrew Bascom, and with me, as always, the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop.
Mikey, Bart's Nightmare and Word.
Okay, yes. I'm very excited by that. That's good.
That's not a bad one.
That's not a bad one, because there has been some really okay ones.
Listen, if I set the bar low, if I set the bar low, like with jokes like that, for example, then every good thing that I do seems that much better.
Yeah.
It's all about lowered expectations. The Mad TV sketch from the 1990s.
Yeah, I was like, why don't I know that? Like, lowered expectations. Yeah, there you go. So
that was a good one.
Wow, welcome back to the Retrograde. Obviously, this is Mike Aaronworth, and we are back for another week of September.
Happy September, folks. Our month-long look at the Simpsons video games. And if you're a member of our Patreon over at patreon.com/the Mushroom Club, join the Mushroom Club. We're also doing Simpsons-themed everything. We're doing Simpsons watch-alongs, some trivia, some surprises coming in the next couple weeks as well. And we thank you to everyone who's supported there. That's a growing community as well. It's $5 a month for all the bonus content your little dumb mind could beg for. And that's it. You know what? Here's the thing most people don't know about Patreon is that
how stupid they are?
That is a given.
Yeah.
Why would you be paying us more money? Is that sure, you can give us the $5, but then you also have to pass a test, which is
skill testing question.
It's you have to beg. We're like, sure, we'll take your money, but you gotta beg for. How badly do you want this content?
Most of these people are sick perverts.
Most Sislak of these people.
Yes, most Sislak. Very good. Lowered expectations. Yeah, they just love it. They just like come in there like, can I beg? I'm like, you sick pervert. Yeah, you can.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
And we like enable them. We do.
Yeah,
we encourage them.
I like to be begged at as well.
100%.
Listen, if you're new to the podcast, first of all, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Secondly, typically what we like to do is take a look back at the games that we used to play when we were kids. Usually it's something that had an impact on us one way or another, something that we remember playing. We rate and review the game as we remember it back in the day. Then we take a little bit of a break. We play the game, play you some of the audio or video if you're watching on YouTube. Then we come back and rate the game again as it holds up in the modern day against the likes of modern games.
Yeah.
But before we do that, we like to take a swift...
Oh, wow. It's like the intro to The Simpsons.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Right.
Doe indeed. Yes.
Doe,
a deer.
Indeed. A female deed. And then just talk a little bit of nonsense for a bit. And that's what we're going to do right now with you, our listeners, listening in on us talking nonsense. Andrew, I've been...
what's that, Mikey?
I've been doing and you cannot deny this, I've been doing a great job of finishing some games lately. And I don't really need your commentary on that because I know where you stand on it.
Some games.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Batman Arkham Knight.
Yep. That's the one.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you did it. Anything else? What? Okay, so I know you're leading to something.
Yes.
Do you have good news for us?
I have some good news.
Oh.
Well, okay, so another thing
Crap.
that
You just said I have some good news and then immediately qualified it. Oh, wait. What's good to you?
Comics, I've finished a bunch more Batman comics. That was great. And that's been taking up a lot of my gaming time. I read Batman the Court of Owls. I read Batman Damned. I read Batman the White Knight. We've talked about those ones on there. Batman and Flash the Button, which is basically an integration with the Watchmen universe, which is really, really cool.
Oh, I saw you post a screenshot of that.
Yes.
On Twitter, at Retrograde Mikey, at Retrograde Andy. And I saw it was like the comedians, TV, like it was on all over Batman
Ozymandias.
TVs.
Yeah.
I was actually confused for a second. I'm like, well, that looks just like the comedian. But I didn't want to post anything to like seem like an absolute idiot.
Yeah,
I was like, wait a second, what's going on here?
So I was basically saying, like, I think there's a big nod in that comic to Ozymandias, and I go between Ozymandias and Ozymandias. I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced.
It's Ozymandias.
I think it is, but it seemed like with the Greek pronunciation, it should, because it's a Greek name, right? Like it should be Ozymandias. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they there's a picture of Batman looking at all his screens, and then I screenshot that and put it next to the famous image of Ozymandias watching all of the screens in his place, and I was like, Batman is Gotham's Ozymandias, and that was pretty
honestly
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's been taking up a lot of my time. That's why I haven't finished things.
Oh, for
and I
fuck's
know.
sake. My God,
but
that was it. The end.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay.
Because here's the announcement that I'm going to make. I will be finishing a game real soon because I played it and I know.
What does that mean?
It's a stay tuned, baby.
So you're going to give us a date? Like by next episode, you're going to have someone to talk about?
So I don't know how long this game is, but I might. Because, so I was talking about wanting to start Psychonauts 2 because we just did Psychonauts a few weeks ago on the Retrograde. Go back and listen to that if you haven't. Psychonauts 2 is on Game Pass, so it's a free download essentially. You might as well. The other game that I was really curious to try was Death's Door. And I didn't know which one I wanted to play. I knew I wanted to play one, and I kind of committed to playing Psychonauts, but I'm like, you know what? Why don't I play the first hour or two of each and then make a decision which one I want to go down. So I did that. Psychonauts 2, I'll walk you through a little bit in the beginning.
Please do.
So funny. Just absolutely hilarious.
Oh, really?
The writing is so good. All of the problems we had with the first one are, for some reason, magnified in this one.
No.
The platforming is extremely clunky. The deaths feel unnecessary. The combat isn't great. And it's like they've leaned into all the elements of Psychonauts that we didn't like and made them a bigger part of the game, which just feels baffling to me.
I love the conversation they must have of like, did you like Psychonauts? I love Psychonauts.
Yes.
Well, we're going to give you more of everything about Psychonauts. Wait, not the bad stuff, though. Oh, we're going to give you so much more bad stuff.
Did you like the script?
Yeah.
I loved the script. Did you like the character design? I love the character design.
Yeah.
Did you like the meat circus? No. Well, we got tons more meat circus, baby.
Do you like horrible camera work? No. Well, it's in there and more.
Yeah, so it feels weird playing a game that it feels like it almost feels like a remaster of the original game, except that the original surprisingly didn't have a ton of combat.
Yeah.
It had a lot of platforming, but not really punishing platforming. In this one, there's a ton of combat in it, and the platforming, I just feel like I'm dying for no reason. And it was...
That's often how I feel. Every day I'm like, I'm dying for no reason.
My doctor can't tell me why.
I'm just slowly dying now. That's just like a sad part. Like, I hate that shit of like, I'm so sorry, but now this is gonna be like coworker nonsense thing where like somebody shows up and they're like, like working hard, hardly working kind of stuff. And it's just like just dying every day a little bit. And you're like, yeah, thanks, dude. Like, what a way to live your life. Every day, one step closer to death. And you're like, okay.
Everything hurts a little bit more than the day before. And like, fucking hell,
God,
Craig.
man, just like
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. Like, yeah, just around that kind of negative energy. But that's
why
we do this podcast.
This is, exactly. To make your life a little bit more enjoyable day after day. So I found myself wanting to play Psychonauts, but way too frustrated with it to really enjoy some of the slower moments. So I was like, okay, you know what? I spent 2 hours with it. I'm like, I'm going to take a snapshot. I will go back to it because it's good enough. And it's insane how creative their level design is.
Yeah.
Like it just baffles me. It's just annoying that they can't get the gameplay good enough.
Yeah.
So I booted up Death's Door. And
What is Death's Door?
Death's Door is a game that came out probably about a month ago or so. Devolver Digital is involved in it. They're involved in a ton of the best indie games. I think they had a hand in Bastion, which was one of my favorite indie games ever. They're like, talk about a company that knows gameplay and knows how to do that perfectly.
An anti-Psychonauts, if you will.
Anti-Psychonauts, exactly. If I were to explain or to go over some of my favorite games over the past 5 years or so,
right?
Dark Souls would obviously be there. Hyper Light Drifter is another one that I played recently and I've talked about on this podcast that I absolutely loved. Hollow Knight is another one that I absolutely adored. Somehow this game's game Death's Door is I almost had another stroke. Is a combination of those games to the point where sometimes it feels like it's almost ripping them off. Like the sound design specifically is, I would say, almost a direct one-to-one with Hollow Knight, in a way like you take damage and everything kind of dampens out a little bit, and the attacks are really like poignant and big by the sound, but you're basically just going in. It's you enter into this landscape. You are a reaper, and you're assigned with collecting souls for the afterlife. And it starts off where you collect a big soul from a boss, and that soul gets stolen. A big soul, baby, from a boss, and it gets stolen from you, and now you're trying to get it back, and you get entangled in this whole web.
Mikey, answer me a question.
Yes.
Big soul, large person or good person?
Oh, very good question.
Like, were you a nicer person in life, so you have a bigger soul?
I think that's,
or is like Dom DeLuise.
I don't think it's nice necessarily. I think it's either good or evil. I think your soul will grow based on personality.
Okay.
One way or the other.
Right.
And this is Soul Talk. Welcome to Soul Talk Radio.
We exclusively talk about the Tim Meadows movie Soul Man. That's it.
Well, no, we had Soul Plane as well.
We had Soul Plane.
Yeah,
we talk about a lot about James Brown.
Yes, exactly.
Soul. Fish. We talk about some fish as well. We talk some white fish. Yeah. That's about all I got with Soul.
This game is fucking perfect for me. I love it so much. That's the game I'm going to finish. I've heard it's only about 9 to 12 hours or something like that. It is bafflingly like confusing to navigate the map, but kind of in a way that Dark Souls and Hollow Knight you're supposed to feel lost.
So two games you really like.
Yes. Yeah. And Hyper Light Drifter in terms of the aesthetics, everything about this game I fucking love. And I highly recommend trying that one out. And those are the two games that I've played over the last couple of weeks since we last recorded.
See, that's really good. And I just want to address, okay, so it's almost like this is an open therapy session sometimes, because you use some troubling language in there that I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
In the way that you're like, Psychonauts 2 is really frustrating, so I'm just gonna start another game so that I can come back and finish this game. And you're just living in a cycle of just pain and punishment, and you can't. Psychonauts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand why my history may make you think that I did that and just fell into the same thing, but I did have the active understanding that like I'm going to play both of these games and then determine which one I want to go. Like that was my goal when I set out.
By the way, if you're new to this podcast, this is of course the continuation of hashtag Mikey doesn't finish, where he doesn't finish video games. But I start so many. You do start so many. I'm great at that. But if you're new to it and I said that, you're like, oh, I get it now.
Yes. My problem though is that I'm so close. I think I'm close to finishing Overwatch, and trying to beat that game has been my biggest struggle. But
can you imagine?
We're in September. Put a hold on. It's cold, so put a burr on.
September, we're gonna put a freeze on Overwatch.
Yes. Yeah. That's the name of this month.
How could you forget it?
How could you? Apparently, I could.
Top of the dome. I could. And you haven't been playing Overwatch?
No, I played when I got back from the cottage recently, because it was kind of like my mini vacation. So I put in a couple hours, but that's about it. I had to test out my new gaming chair.
Yes, which if you're watching on YouTube right now, you could see a little gaming chair he's got.
Secret Lab, baby. Yeah. Andrew, what about you? What's been new in your world?
Well, you know what? I've been watching a lot of television.
9 Perfect Strangers.
9 Perfect Strangers.
Has that gotten any better?
Mikey, let me tell you.
It hasn't gotten
better
worse.
Is an interesting word.
Yeah.
Because that insinuates quality.
Sure.
Has it become as interesting, or has it maintained its interestingness?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's still more like a car wreck that you can't look away from?
Yes. It's like season 2 of like The OC or something like that, where you're like, season 1's pretty good. What the hell's going on here? But they're trying, man. And like, it's a baffling show. I'm not even gonna get too much into it because now I'm at the point where like there's like some level of spoiler to it where it's like, honest to God, give me a month. I'll just tell you all what happens.
It wouldn't surprise me if this was their afterlife, just based on how baffling the premise of the show is.
Mikey, honestly, every option's on the table.
If
you told me that Nicole Kidman was the devil, or this was in space, or like anything, like this is actually medieval times or whatever, I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
I can't tell you. Is one of those options actually it?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Did you just spoil something for us?
I can't if I didn't tell you which one it was.
That's true. That's because it could be anything.
It's both of them. It's a medieval time and space, yes.
What about two of our other favorite shows have come back?
Well,
the
that's
other
what I wanna talk
two
about.
and What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes.
The other two being an HBO show
Ish.
starring Drew Tarver and...
I actually don't know her name.
I don't know her name either. I know Drew Tarver from Comedy Bang Bang, another podcast that's almost as funny as ours. And and they're basically the brother and sister of a Justin Bieber type character.
Yes.
Reaping the benefits of his success.
Yeah,
and then What We Do in the Shadows is a mockumentary about vampires.
Yeah, it's based on the movie, the Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi movie.
Yeah.
What We Do in the Shadows pleases me to no end because it's unlike everything else on television. I think the other two is brilliant.
Yeah.
And that first season is so good. Like most good comedies do, where it can be broad.
Yes.
It can be crazy broad at times. And then there's those moments where it just hits you and you're like, oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's a good acting right there.
Yeah.
That's good writing. And so that's really good about the other two. And then What We Do in the Shadows is just an insane show.
So fucking
and it
insane.
makes me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
We're not gonna ruin it because I think as of airing, only 3 episodes of airing.
As of recording. Yeah.
As of recording, excuse me. But when the first episode, when Najidal shows up in the first scene,
Yes.
I was like, well, this is going to be great.
Najidal is your favorite character.
My favorite
from
character
that.
in the whole thing. So it's pretty much, it's the disembodied voice inside of a porcelain doll of one of the
Creepy looking
vampires.
porcelain.
And so she has her own personality and her own reactions. And it's like The Office where they can cut to a doll and the doll
Yes.
looks in the camera like, what's going on? And you're like, I know. It makes me laugh every time.
So I've seen the first 2 episodes, and it's just right back to the same old thing.
Yeah.
There's the conceit that Guillermo, the familiar, so a familiar being someone who helps out the vampires
Yes.
doing day-to-day tasks.
The Dwight Schrute of the vampire family.
Except less sardonic. I think more just like
Well, Guillermo's super passionate about being a vampire, though.
Right. That's
he
true.
loves vampires.
That's true. And in this season, he's kind of like developed a sense of independence, so he is a bit more of a dick to the vampires, and that's kind of a nice little touch to it.
Yeah, we're not going to ruin what Guillermo's whole thing is,
Yeah.
but like there is something that's very funny that gets
It's
him at a
very funny.
crossroads. And so I just the depths of the world and how of the vampire world, and then the moments of normalcy. That's what's really funny.
Yeah.
The fantastical about vampires and all the kind of stuff, and then their mundanity of life. It's like insane. Like the Vampire Council is just in an office park.
That is, and it's all filmed in Toronto, so you recognize so many of the set pieces.
Yeah.
But it's so just a boring looking office building, but it's in the basement of that where there's like caverns.
I just had a friend audition for the show.
Oh, I have a friend. Ooh,
That's the part that's incredible.
look at me.
So he was saying, he's like, oh, I gotta do a self tape. I'm like, yeah, no worries. We were, because it's popular NFL draft week was just this, so everyone's doing fantasy drafts, and you got to. So he's like, oh, I gotta do this self tape, and I was like, oh, what's it for? He goes, what to do with the shadows? And I knocked 6 things over. I'm like, what part was it? What happens in it? What happens in that show?
yeah.
He's like, it's for a familiar. I'm like, oh, what? Oh, do you talk to? Is Gizmo in your scene? It only speaks to how much I love that show. That it was like he could have said anything, and I would have been like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I was like, I'm sorry, what?
It is. It's special because it feels so different.
Yes.
And I think that I like your point about the other two. It's a very straightforward show, but the writing is just so top notch. It's like going to an Italian restaurant and ordering like a plain pasta.
This is actually a really good example, actually.
because they make it so much better than everyone else.
Everyone's at
makes
pasta, and pasta's like, oh, pasta's okay.
Yeah.
And then somebody makes it really well, and you're like, holy shit, this is what it
is
could
what it
be
could-
like?
exactly,
Oh my
exactly.
God. Yeah, like pizza or like pasta, that kind of stuff. I agree with you. So it's it's a married couple. It's Sarah Schneider and I forget the husband's name. And they used to be the head writers of SNL.
Okay.
And Sarah Schneider used to be a writer on like College Humor when I was like young.
Oh, really?
So she was in all those videos. So I was like, I know that person.
Yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah.
she became the head writer of SNL. I'm like, whoa. And now she's doing this, and it's just incredible.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So I watched the first 2 episodes of What We Do in the Shadows, and then I watched the first episode of. This is how I do things. I'm running multiple things at the same time. I cannot.
You're
sit and focus
Ozymandias
on
in
one
front of a
thing.
bunch of televisions.
Just
yeah.
constantly looking.
Except those televisions are multiplying and you're getting nervous. You're like, oh God.
Well, the thing
I
is,
should start more movies.
I'm not buying more TVs.
No.
But there are more in my place, and I don't know how it's happening.
It's a curse.
It's a curse. I can't get away from it. I went into, I don't have any TVs in my bedroom.
Good.
But I woke up one day and there was one in the bed with me.
Yeah,
I was like, how is this going on? I don't understand this. It was scary.
Your dog's got like 3 TVs attached to him, walking, following you. Like, stop. Yeah, there's, you know what? It's so funny where I was like, man, there's a lot of good television on. And then I remembered it's the beginning of September. That's usually when most TV airs.
What a time to be alive.
What? Middle of the pandemic.
September.
2-year-long pandemic. We're like, oh, what a time.
What a time to be alive,
my
baby.
God. You know what? I just love that. People, it's just a horrible time. Other things like, well, how are you doing? I'm like, good. My vampire TV show arrived. I'm happy.
Arrived.
Yeah.
Arrived.
Oh, I'm kind of crazy in this story.
That's, yeah. Okay,
Wink.
that's fair. Yeah. Well, Yahoo.
Wink Yahoo, indeed.
Can I explain the premise of Uh-Oh again?
No.
The Canadian game show. I feel like I've explained it 9 times on this podcast.
You definitely have.
Yeah.
And the fact that you thought one of the characters was your father. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like repeating nonstop, like some sort of nightmare.
No.
I don't know. Like Bart had a nightmare once. I don't know if you knew this.
No, I didn't hear about
this. But the
this.
basis of that nightmare is the game that we're going to be focusing on today.
Here we
It is
go.
Bart's Nightmare. It came out in 1997 for the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, or if you're not from North America, the Mega Drive.
Oh.
I think sorry, did I say 97? It's 92, 1992.
Okay.
Here's an admission I'll make. I don't.
2 tickets. Tickets, please.
But 2 for 1.
Okay, very good.
I don't know.
Coupon.
I don't know the difference between all of the UK versions of the Genesis and like the Mega Drive, the Master System, this, like all of those. And there's like so many iterations. I just use Mega Drive for interchangeably between all of them.
I'm fine with this. But I'm on 2 sides of this, Mikey.
Okay.
First of all, you host a.
But are you on 2 sides for the price of 1?
God, dude, how many coupons do you have? Is on the pro side, you should know that. You host a video game podcast. You're a professional. Second of all, why in the world would you know that? Honest to God, that's so dumb. Like, honest to God, you've lived here your whole life.
Yes.
It's not like it's like, well, when I was in the UK, when I was 13.
To me, learning that would be a choice like juggling, where it's like, I love. Harris Whittles used to say this, one of my favorite comedians, who is dead.
Yeah, he passed.
He passed. He used to say the joke. He's like, I don't care that you could juggle. He's like, you learned that. You took the time to. I could do it. Why would I waste my time learning how to juggle? Like, I would have to seek out the answer to the Mega Drive, and it wouldn't benefit me at all in my life.
No.
Just like having a video game podcast doesn't benefit you at all.
This might be like a hot take or something like that, but like where we live in North America, I feel that way about driving manual.
Oh,
where
yes, 100%.
Like, they're like, but is it man? I'm like, you're just showing off.
Yeah.
You don't need that. Like, and cars come automatic.
They're
now.
always like, but it's more fun this way. I'm like, but how are you supposed to text message people and change your radio while driving if you have one hand on the clutch? I
don't want to have a superior supercomputer technology of a car at my power, and I go, a hill. Oh God, I'm broke. I'm taking a break on a hill. Like that just feels like so.
Do you know how to drive manual at all?
I've done it a couple of times. It's not as hard as you think it is.
Yeah.
To really obviously to do it well, to be very, very good at it. Yeah, it takes time to
skip. But you would
do it 2 or 3 times. You'd be fine.
I think so.
Because hypothetically, you know how to do it already.
Yes.
So it's like
video games with it.
Exactly.
I've done paddle shifting. I know. Yeah. Speaking of shifting and manual transmissions and all that, we had a Sony event, the PlayStation Showcase, not too long ago, and Gran Turismo, we finally saw it. We got a release date on that. We got some video on it. Looks fantastic. Insomniac Games. Can we draw attention before we talk about Bart's Nightmare? Let's draw attention to this.
Glad
Andrew.
you are.
A couple years ago, 2 young strapping gents sitting at a kitchen table with one microphone split between the 2 of them, talking about what would make the Marvel Cinematic Universe translate into video games best. Yes. And we said you need one developer that can make games with different play styles and mechanics to suit each video game, whether it's Spider-Man or Iron Man. Those are going to be wildly different games. And what you got in something like Marvel's Avengers, the game that came out last year, was just so bland because they didn't differentiate between powers all that much.
But by the way, right now, the Black Panther expansion has come out on that game.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting. I wouldn't say it saves the game by any means, but the fact that they were like, hey, we're just gonna give you a bunch of free characters.
It's great.
It's like great, and also like a mea culpa of going like, so we understand.
Yes.
So yes, continue.
But that was my prediction. That was our prediction from the beginning. I remember explicitly saying the developer you want in charge of the Marvel Cinematic Universe video game representation, whatever, is Insomniac.
Yeah.
And now we find that they're working on a Wolverine game.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Which, all you got from the showcase was just kind of a gritty little trailer. It was like 30 seconds long, a bit of a teaser. Guy at a bar, everything's in shambles. One guy approaches him, and you just see his bloody fist on the table, and then the blades come out, the adamantium, and I was like, fucking right. And I'm like, here we go. This is what we predicted. This is what we wanted.
Yeah.
And then they show a trailer for Spider-Man 2, the next Insomniac installment, 2023. And I'm like, this is what happens, I guess, when you have one development company making all of them. But one day, maybe 2030, we'll get the Avengers game with all of the Avengers
on PS9
and mechanics in it.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's so funny too, because you and I often speak about like the terrible labor conditions that the video game industry puts it in. And this is us not trying to talk out of both sides of our mouth, where we're like, 2023, are you out of your fucking mind? Get these people to work.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
I want it to be like a ship when they traveled across like Vikings, so everyone's getting whipped in chairs and stuff like that. Start singing.
Why do you need a bed bigger than the underside of your desk anyway? Like, just
sleep with your eyes open, like a cow.
I'm excited for both of those games. PlayStation Showcase had a lot of decent looking games out there. The theme of that showcase, though, I'm not sure if you did you see it?
I've seen the highlights.
The highlights, okay. A lot of the games
and the lowlights,
which there were. It seems like games now, the tone that we're going for is, I can't believe I'm in a video game. I'm going to talk about how crazy it is that I can do this stuff, because every game had that tone. Every game. And in the PlayStation Showcase, it started with one of the remasters of Uncharted.
Yeah.
Which is great, but that game did that tone already. Like, I guess I gotta kill a bunch. Oh, look
when
at
it was still original.
Exactly. And now it's like
was.
every game, like there was one, I can't remember what it was called, but you're a woman who ends up getting transported to this fantasy world, and you get all these magic powers, and everything was like, oh, okay, I can shoot energy from my fingers now.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I can do now. I'm an energy finger person. And it's like, I've heard that line so many times in so many games. Enough with that conceit. We get it. We're playing video games. Like,
I hate that. I hate it the same way that I hate in trailers going like, oh, you're probably wondering how I got here.
Yes, exactly.
No, we don't. I so earnestly love art or mediums that really just commit themselves into it and go like, I am this person. You're like, whoa, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I want to be that person. That's why I want to play this game. If somebody's looking at you like, life's tough, I'm like, shut up.
Exactly.
Look forward. Stop looking at me.
Exactly. This is escapism. I don't want to.
Yes.
I don't want there to be a connection between real life and that thing.
Yeah.
That is my connection. It's like I'm the one thinking those things.
Totally.
Already. I don't need the character.
Yeah,
to
there's
do
a lot
it
of characters
for
on
me.
the screen. It's like, like a morning commute. I'm like, stop relating to me. Stop that.
Oh, I haven't had a good girlfriend in like 10 years. Oh shit.
You're a mage. Stop that. You are a wizard, Harry.
Fly, do something.
Do something.
And they did that in the trailer as well, where it's like, oh, I guess I can fly too. And as soon as she said it, I was like, oh, they're gonna make a joke about how that's absurd. Why could you fly? And then the voice in her head is like, flying, that's crazy. And she's like, oh, what? I can shoot magic, but I can't fly. I'm like, that is the laziest joke, guys. Just be your own thing. It's
just do the Star Wars trailer where they say they fly now 7 times.
Yes.
They fly now. They fly now. They fly. They fly. Oh my goodness.
I could fly in my dreams sometimes.
Okay.
Some of those dreams
Very
are
good.
nightmares. Also, all of my waking hours are nightmares as well these days, it turns out. But Bart's nightmare is a little bit different. It was a game that was requested to us because we put it out there to the D-pads and all of our followers on Twitter to recommend some games to us. Some notable listeners who wanted to make sure that we did this game. And by the way, I didn't mention this. Simpsons Wrestling, I believe I mentioned at Warren John Hughes recommending we do it. I didn't mention Ryan Praser as well, who wanted us to do it in the sense that it was so bad it's good. And I think there was an element to that to it. The that it's good element, I think, was a little bit wanting.
Yeah.
But this one was recommended by
Lowered expectations.
that's the theme of the show. At Justino Footy and at Mart89 M4RT89 on Twitter.
Yeah.
Two examples of people who recommended we play this game. And I think one of the reasons they recommended it is because this was actually a pretty well received game. Like it's one of those games that, as far as The Simpsons goes, you have a lot of lot of stinkers out there.
Oh yeah, it's a more of a quantity, not quality.
Yes, exactly.
There's a lot out there.
But within there, every so often you get a little bit of a hit, and apparently this is one of them.
You know what? Just before you get into it, because in my mind, so I've never played this game.
Yes.
Right? Because I didn't know to have Super Nintendo, but I don't, whatever. I owned a Genesis, but I never played it. To me, if you say Simpsons game with like a specific theme, which is clearly it, and Super Nintendo, I'm like, man, that's exciting. That in my mind is like the right console, the right generation, and something that instead of like, oh, it's just Bart going down the street.
Yeah.
Like, no, there's a very specific theme. That is all very exciting to me. So my hopes are high, unlike the lowered expectation, like from the last couple of things.
For Simpsons Wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the premise of this one, first of all, it was developed by Sculptured Software and published by Acclaim. Sculptured Software is a company that was acquired by Acclaim, became Acclaim Salt Lake, and then Iguana Studios as well.
Studios.
So they were responsible for a lot of the ports of like Mortal Kombat to SNES, Doom on SNES.
Right.
So they've got a few games under their belt.
Yep.
This one is just their thing. The story is kind of interesting. Bart's doing homework for the first time probably ever. He falls asleep, and his dream is essentially that he has to go through the street. They don't say it's Evergreen Terrace. They call it like the windy level or windy land or something like that. And collect pages of your homework. And every time you collect a page, you have to complete one of 2 random mini games. And if you complete it, you get the page back, and then you get rated like on a letter rating to see how you actually did on your homework. So kind of a weird conceit.
Yeah.
But the thing I want to focus on is drawing attention to the dream theme of this, the nightmare theme. So in the game, it feels like they did try to make it so that Bart's fears and likes and dislikes are represented in dream form in this game, especially by some of the different characters. So as you're going through, you'll see some of the characters. One of them would be Jimbo in his game, right?
Yeah.
So if they touch you, you become a part of their gang, and you move with them, and you can't move out, and you take damage when they take damage. So you're basically like, you lose control. You can jump and like kind of control them a little bit. Which to me is like, that's Bart's fear of going to school and getting involved with these gangs. It's like they get too close to you, and now you're with them, and you're associated with them, and you take damage when they take damage. Really cool, right? If you see Principal Skinner,
oh no,
he tries to dress you up in your Sunday clothes for Sunday school.
That's good.
Which makes you move slow, and you can't fire, but it protects you from damage, which is like, hey, go and get an education, and the world will be a lot safer for you. The only thing that can damage you, Jimbo, because you're a nerd now.
Because you're a nerd.
Right?
Wow. It's like a rock, paper, scissors.
Exactly. So it's pretty cool that they actually put that sort of thought into it. The mini games I'll go through, and I'll say this as well. I thought I hadn't played this game either as a kid. 1992, though, a lot of my memories were kind of jumbled up. As I started to read about some of the mini games, I'm pretty sure I have played this game. Not well enough to be able to give it a score in the retro, like for a retro score. But I'm curious to see if this is the game I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
So you have a bunch of different mini games. You get a choice to go through one of 2 doors every time you collect a piece of homework.
Yeah.
Green door, you turn into Bartzilla and stomp around Springfield and then fight Homer Kong and Momthra, which is great. Momthra. That's a fucking perfect name, right?
That's amazing.
If I say anything here and you recognize this from an episode of The Simpsons, let us know.
So you know what the thing is? The only thing I was going to say is in 1992, this is also the part where they haven't really established like the lore around it. So like I can imagine a lot of the characters might be like sometimes original or some stuff where you're like, we didn't ever saw that again.
Exactly.
Because you even see that in the Simpsons arcade game where like they attach sometimes to the old like Matt Groening cartoons or like Life in Hell, I think it was called, or some other stuff where you're like, this isn't really the show.
Yes.
Like, and I always think a good example of that is the end of the first level is a generic wrestler where that could have been just Barney or something like that. And you're like, no, they didn't think about that. So I wonder if that's still the same generation, even though the Jimbo and Seymour stuff sounds pretty good.
That sounds pretty good. I'm sure there will be an element of that. So the violet door, you go into Bart's bloodstream and destroy germs. That's a weird one.
That is weird.
Yeah. There's a yellow door where you're attacked by Itchy and Scratchy, who are on a team with one another. And then you end up in your parents' house. And this is another one of those things where like the dream narrative makes sense. So the oven and vacuum cleaners, they shoot fire at you, which to me is like his aversion to chores, right? Like you want to cook, you want to do the vacuum, it's going to go. The telephone explodes, and I think that's him used to the school calling his parents and dropping bombs of bad information for whatever. Marge's pictures in the house drop eyeballs that can damage you, and to me that's, you know, your mom's always watching your watchful eye. And then you have Blue, which is Bartman. You fly around the city and fight bosses. And this is the mini game that I know I've played. So you have one boss that's Sherry and Terry on a hot air balloon. Is that an image you've seen in other games?
I don't know. I'm trying now. I don't know.
Because that I have such a vivid memory of. You have Barney on a pink elephant, which is hilarious because he's an alcoholic, which is so funny.
Yes, hilarious. Alcoholism is hilarious.
Smithers in a blimp and Burns in a biplane. And then you have, of course. Orange is Idaho Simpson and Bart. I don't even know what that means. And Bart must balance through columns in a temple of Maggie, which is
okay.
I don't understand what that means as well.
No.
The way that this plays out, I'm going to be curious. I hope we get to try all the different mini games. But none of this, does any of this ring a bell to you?
No, I don't think I've ever played this game. And honestly, it sounds awesome.
I'm glad it was recommended. I mean, if you go out there's tons of lists of the best and worst Simpsons games. And this one's notoriously pretty good. But when it comes to the reception that was given to it by games journalists or critics at the time, Game Rankings, which is an amalgamator, gave it an overall score of 83%. Really high. That's a really good score. But the reviews, they were as low as Mega, giving it a 35%, or as high as Enforce, giving it an 87%.
Whoa.
Consoles Plus gave it a 55%. Nintendo Power gave it a 15 out of 20. Why so much variation? Why was there such an... I don't think we get that now in games from major publications. It seems pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Within 10, 15%, but the majority of ratings are all going to be within that range.
You know what's funny too, because I hate Rotten Tomatoes, for the most part. It doesn't matter. Because and while it has its place, the outsized power it has, I think, is kind of ridiculous.
Yes.
That's the part that I
totally
don't
agree. Yeah.
But with video games, which is really interesting, because you're taking usually a written review and going, it's 80%. You're like, well, they didn't give it 80%. Where are you getting that from?
Right.
With video game reviews, since the inception of video game criticism, they've been often ranking things out of an arbitrary number, but a number nonetheless.
Yes.
So you can get a kind of an idea where they were
back to the early 90s, which is nuts. Now, why do you think, because I hear you on the movie standpoint. Rotten Tomatoes and the IMDb score, those are the two that
for sure
mean the most. Why is it in video games that it's more about the Metacritic score, which is an aggregator?
Yeah, that's so much. Why did they immediately go to we should rank things out of 10 or 15, 20 or whatever the hell it was? Or one of them is 45 or something insane.
Oh, yeah. GamePro would be 25 because it was 5 reviewers rating at 5 each.
Yeah. Which I guess is its own algorithm or aggregator.
It's always going to be a percentage either way, but... I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that video games have always been around that $60 to $80 range. So you need to be able to quantify the greatness of a game before you spend your money on it.
It's funny. I was just listening. There was a small podcast series about Siskel and Ebert and their influence on the industry.
Roper didn't show up.
At the end, he did.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, after Siskel died. But they talked to Richard Roper, and he was just like, it wasn't the same. And what's funny is just that a lot of movie reviewers just hated Siskel and Ebert because there's the thumb system. They just gave thumbs up and thumbs down. And they're like, this is not the point of criticism. It's supposed to be a long thought. And they made every other reviewer add scores on the bottom of their thing. And it changed forever because of that. So that's why I think
amazing.
About this.
I love that too. And I did like Ebert and Roper because a thumbs down didn't necessarily mean it was bad all the time. And that's always been the case. It's always about reading the full review or listening to it or listening to an hour and a half episode of a podcast about a game in which we only talk about it for about 20 minutes.
100%. If you just scrolled to the end and went what'd they give it? 4 to 16. It's no, you're missing all the other parts.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the worst part about reading a movie review and you're they only give it 2 stars. You're no, there's some thought into this.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So we're going to, before we can give it this rating, obviously we have to go play the game. And because normally what we would do is we would give it our retro score. I mean, you know this. I have to explain it to you every week, which is really frustrating to me.
Yeah, I have short-term memory.
I think you should write this down. You should tattoo it on yourself like memento.
Oh, okay. It's also some Polaroids.
Yes, some Polaroids. My recommendation, this is just from me.
Okay.
Stop getting those memory tattoos on your back. It's just because there's so many things scratched out and etched in there.
And then I have to get it backwards too because I have to look into a mirror like an ambulance.
Yes. Yeah. It's which you did. I mean, that one was just for funny, but you did tattoo ambulance.
My shoulder blades are the headlights
Yeah.
and the ambulance is over my back. My tramp stamp is, I don't know, the license plate, I guess.
Ooh, I like that.
Thank you.
So we're gonna go play this game. We're not gonna give it a rating as we remember it back in the day because we didn't play it back in the day, or I did, and I barely remember having played it. But we are going to play it and then rate it as we think we would have liked it had we played it back in 1992. But before we do that, there's only one thing left to do,
And that is...
Andrew. I hate that I need to explain this to you. Turn around. Take your shirt off. Turn around.
Okay.
See, look at your back.
Okay.
Can you do it? No, you can't.
No,
That's
I
why you
can't.
should get these on your front, but right
On my
underneath,
front.
on your front, the generic part of your body, the front. That's why I failed medical school. It's like, where does the heart go? I said under the front.
Upper front.
Upper front.
Yes, sir. You got to leave.
But it said we have to play the game.
Oh, we have to play the game. Well, that's exciting.
You have to play the game. So let's do it. We're going to take a break. We will play the game and come back with our reviews right after this.
Ahoy, hoy.
Why can't we get this right? Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye, Dr. Mikey.
Thanks, Andrew.
Well, they kicked you out of medical school.
For the same reason as Dr. Nick.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we'll see you
Upper
guys
front.
We'll see you guys on the other side.
Oh, wow. Ooh,
Bart's Nightmare.
The writing so distinct.
So distinct. And they love that pink color, right? They always have.
I do love, in all the games we try and play, everyone tries to take a crack at that opening, eh?
Oh, the
Like,
Simpsons?
they
Yeah.
just can't
Back
avoid-
when like they just didn't have enough bits to do it.
Look at this. Man,
So Bart's in his room,
he's really doing homework.
writing some homework, and just face plants.
Yeah. Now we're going to black and white.
Is that what his room? I guess that is what his room looks like.
It is. It's just a little small, and the perspective's a little off.
Yeah, the perspective's
because that's
different.
where the closet should be, where
Yes.
his desk is.
Just to the right of it. So his pages get blown out the window, and he
Jesus.
jumps out after him. And thus begins Bart's Nightmare.
Oh my goodness, the titular. All right, so you're right in front of the Simpsons' home.
Oh, I love it. Look, Bart wearing blue shoes like Sonic, tapping his foot
Immediately.
like Sonic does.
So there's a piece of... Whoa, Jesus. Okay, so
almost got hit by a bus.
Otto and that bus is off to get you.
Whoa.
Oh,
and
God,
he
run
is-
over by the
and
bus.
He did run over me. So it is very windy. So you can shoot sunflower seeds. That's what I'm doing there.
Oh, cute.
Or you can blow bubble gum at people.
Music's very jazzy.
It's not bad. Mailboxes are running after me.
So yeah, they're actually in a kind of cute animation. They're running from one side of the street to another. Like, they turn into a mailbox, run across the street, turn into a mailbox.
Yeah.
Yep. Mailbox.
So far, I'm just walking. I'm not really doing much.
No.
They also, like I said, don't explicitly say that this is Evergreen Terrace, but it is.
But it is.
very
Except
much
it looks like
it
it is overgrown in like a farm. Like it's a small town.
Oh, there's Lisa. She turned me into a frog.
Oh, wow. So we're dead already.
Almost.
Oh, wait.
There's a mist rolling into Evergreen Terrace, and that shows
whoa.
that my slumber is nearly ending.
Oh. Oh, okay.
old
Let's
lady.
get kissed by this old lady.
I've been kissed by an old lady.
Oh,
now.
you kissed her back. That was cute.
Oh, saxophone.
So what's the saxophone do? Okay.
Good question. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, I'm
I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. So I
unsure.
died. Bart is asleep. Got an F on his homework.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like we also got an F. Like we didn't. Oh, Lisa's so mad at him.
Lisa's so mad. Bart's mad.
It's kind of actually a funny way of doing it. They post it on the fridge.
On the fridge, like in Bart Gets an F.
Yeah.
Like in the episode.
Wow, that's kind of great, actually.
Yeah, so you want to... It's tough because the easiest... or the best shot you have of jumping over the mailboxes... Oh, candy. Nice. Oh, try jumping over that page.
Oh, okay.
Follow it. See if it's still there.
It's probably... Once it's off the screen, it's probably gone, eh?
So maybe we have to jump over it. That would be good. There you go. Okay, so
Nice.
Andrew, you're definitely getting the hang of the jumping as well. But it's not satisfying to do.
Oh, I don't know. After all that pain, this is like feeling... I feel like a god. Okay, don't... Why is everyone behind the tree?
I know, that's really annoying, eh? The trees
Stop
in the
it!
foreground.
Stop kissing me,
Is
old
that
woman!
damaging you when the old woman kisses you?
I hope not. Everything else in this game is.
Everything else.
Damn it. Can I get by?
Oh, there's a page.
No. Okay, wait.
Yeah,
Yes,
you jumped
yes,
on it.
yes,
You
yes.
did it. Okay, blue door, or a green door, or a yellow door.
Which-
Green door is Bartzilla.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm going to green door. I think I was supposed to choose, and I just let him walk into one. What?
Oh, you're enormous. Oh, this is cool. This is almost like Rampage. This feels like what Bart would dream of, eh?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, you just got hit by a tank. That's I would say bad strategy.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's not based on directions. It's based on the buttons of which side you're hitting.
Oh, okay. So each
Does
button,
that make sense?
Yeah, each button shoots at a different angle. Or does an attack that hits at a different angle.
Even
as
though
opposed to you aiming left or no.
Yeah.
Oh, it is, eh? He's just so angry. As he takes damage, you can see him, like, his character model. This is pretty cool. I can imagine this being fucking wicked back in the day, eh? Now, you're just racking up the points. You're destroying building after building. Where in Springfield is this, though?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Oh, pages collected.
1.
I think 0. I don't think you get it unless you...
Get to the end of that?
Unless you get to the end.
Oh, my God.
But now you start back.
Do you want to try?
Right, yeah, let me try that.
So, Mikey, what was your score at the end of last turn?
Good question. I believe it was a fucking frog. It was 120.
Okay, we're at
9,495.
So we're on our way up.
Little bit. I'm still not impressed though.
Real Shania Twain situation.
Yes. Oh, there's another page. Fucking hell. No, get up. Get up, you fucking frog. God damn it. Why is everything in this game so fucking hard? You just let me play. D-.
D-.
That's better than
not
an F. Okay.
That's a real Bart like celebration.
Yeah, D-. Yeah.
Oh wait, Lisa's not as mad.
Marge is pretty pissed though.
Marge
Homer's like, that's higher than any score I've ever got.
Homer's staring at the fridge, wondering when
Is
we
there
open
beer in
this
there?
thing. Yes.
I want to get whatever that flying level is, so I can see whether this is the game that I remember, because I don't remember anything about what we're playing right now.
Right.
And I can't imagine as a kid in 1992 or even around then. I see a page.
Nice.
I got it.
There you go. Okay, so you have to walk till it rests on the ground.
Yes.
Okay. You know what? I'm enjoying.
Now we get it.
I'm
That
getting
helps.
this.
That
I'm getting
helps.
this.
So I got the blue door. And the blue door is this is what I was looking for. This is Bartman. So we'll see if this is
Jesus Christ.
Holy shit, there's missiles everywhere.
Wow, that is tough.
This is the game. This is the fucking game that I played. I don't know when I would have played this. What is this from?
Wow. You played this, but you don't remember the other part of it,
None
eh?
of the other part. I wonder if like my uncle had it or something. Oh, you can't shoot backwards.
Your
which is
Unky
frustrating.
Herb?
My Unky Herb.
Oh, boss meter getting low, I think.
There you go.
Oh, you're doing pretty well now.
Oh, fuck yeah. Beat a boss.
Good job.
Do I have to beat every boss? We got a page.
That's a page.
That's the first page.
Oh my God, Jimmy Page. Yeah. All
we
right.
fucking did it.
Nice.
All right.
Nailed it. And welcome back to the Retrograde.
Well, that happened quickly. You caught me off guard, Andrew.
I try and do that all the time.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
That's a good co-host mentality.
I always try and go like truly shock and surprise. It's just shock and awe style of
really
hosting.
shock jock podcasting.
Yeah.
I like because it's like you have Adam Sandler and Chris Farley, and they would try to make each other laugh, and David Spade. They
Yep.
try to make each other laugh, but that's to the benefit of the audience. They like that. You just try to make it so that I fuck up and no one's having fun.
You know what? If it happened this way, if it happened another way, I think we would get the same result one way or another.
People unsubscribing?
No, Mike. I say, "Are you ready?" You go, "Yes," and I go, "Great, let's go." And I start, and then you're like, "What? What happened?
What happened?"
You got to ask me 2-3 times to make sure.
You should. A good co-host would know that I'm usually thinking about all the games I'm not finishing instead.
Do you feel stress about that? Like unrelated to me bringing it up on the podcast?
Absolutely. Because
Okay.
you know what I found the biggest issue is
The hashtag catching on.
That's always been an issue. Things catching on in my life are always a big issue as well. It's the fact that when I'm playing a game, I'm constantly thinking about other games that I could be playing.
Is this why you're not in a committed relationship?
I think it's why I haven't been, and I'm 32 years old. Oh my God. Oh, this morning. I can't believe I forgot about this. I think my mind tried to hide it from me. What a way to wake up this morning. I hadn't had my morning coffee, and don't talk to me unless I've had my morning coffee.
Don't talk to me.
I went to go get my morning coffee, which I hadn't had at this point, so no one should have been talking to me.
You're a real bear.
A real bear. I mean,
God. That's you. That's you before your coffee.
That's literally me.
My God.
I roll out of bed, and I don't turn off my alarm by clicking it. I scratch at my screen because I'm a wild animal before
Yeah.
I get my coffee.
I swatted a few hams that I have around the house.
Yes, I drank still lake water because I didn't know the difference.
Carrying around a full salmon in your mouth.
Full salmon
Just
in my
a
mouth.
whole salmon.
And all I'm doing with it is eating the eggs. Did you know that's what bears do?
I did not know that. They don't eat the
salmon,
fish?
They push the eggs out of them and eat the eggs.
Huh.
You'd think there would be a compromise these fish could come to.
The fish come to the shore, sacrifice the eggs of this one time.
Yes,
Please
yeah.
don't eat us.
Don't eat us. Give me passage. Here are 2 of my unborn children. Most of them are going to die anyway.
Does anyone remember the bear salmon pact of 2022?
Oh, man.
A subtle nod, and they go off swimming upstream.
I just picture a bear with a mustache and a pipe and a hat. I think I'm picturing Smokey the Bear, actually, now that I think about it.
Only I can succeed.
Only I can broker peace between the salmon and the bears.
Well, the bears, what is advantageous for the bears? I guess just easier row.
Well,
Like,
it's that
they're winning. Like what's their threat? Like they're
true.
like, they're coming to that negotiating table with all the chips.
I think it's basically like, look, I know you don't want to stand on a waterfall all day long.
Right.
Who wants that? Unless you're taking Insta photos, which bears do. Some bears do.
Kodak baby girl has got 21,000 followers on Instagram. They got to post that content. Slinging 10.
So
Yes.
you
This morning you didn't have your coffee.
No, but I will get to that. But
Okay.
first, the reason the Bears will get it because we have to establish this. We can't open this wound and not suture it up.
Yeah, like a
Ryan.
salmon. Oh,
Ryan Suter.
Ryan Suter. Oh, the defenseman in the NHL. Yes.
Yes, that everyone knows. No, it's because the Bears, they just get to walk to the banks of the river. They have their pile of eggs there. That's it for them. They're
Yeah, it's
good.
the egg bank.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because every salmon that goes up there, if they all leave one egg, then everyone benefits. It's socialism. It's socialism at its finest.
I would turn to the animal kingdom to figure out before humans.
Yes.
Because they're just better than us.
They just better. We don't deserve
No,
dogs.
we don't deserve nature.
No.
But that's why we're actively trying to murder it at every opportunity.
Oh, I think we're getting close.
We're doing really great.
really well.
One of the greatest united
Fronts.
Yeah, that we've ever done
had.
as humanity is eliminating nature.
Against nature.
And we're doing great at it.
Listen, Mother Nature is a cold whore, and I won't rest until she's dead.
There is a guy out there in a 10-gallon hat that does feel that way.
Yes.
Like, we're getting really close to eliminating that rainforest. He's like, way to go, guys. And everyone like high fives, shoots their guns in the airs.
Okay, so I'm
yes.
getting my morning coffee, all right, which I have now. So you can talk to me.
Yeah, you're not a bear.
I come out of the coffee place, and my dog is tied up to the fence.
Yeah.
And there are these 2 women sitting on the bench next to where the fence is, and they're talking. And one of them says, yeah, I was talking to him, and he's 40 years old, and he said he's never had a serious relationship.
Oh, no.
And I was about to turn to them and be like, ooh, I only got 8 more years to go. But then the other one chimes in, and she's like, that's not a good look. That's not cute anymore. What's wrong with him? And I'm like sitting there like, holy shit. That is the most honest opinion of my circumstances that I can get in my life.
They had no idea, but they were Stadler and Waldorfing you outside of the coffee shop and going like, what kind of joke would never be in a relationship? And you're like, you're like Kermit the Frog standing there.
Oh my God. Listen, you need a wake-up call that's going to do more than a cup of coffee. That's what it is.
I actually said this to somebody out loud where they, we're all in our 30s and they were like, yeah, he's 40. And I was like, you ever been married? And he goes, no. I'm like, that might be a red flag. And not sitting there going, I'm 35 and never been married.
Right.
Why wouldn't someone be saying the same thing about me?
100%. That's I think about that all the time. So we talk about when I'm playing video games. I'm
Yes.
thinking about other video games and
Those 2 women.
my lot in life. Yeah. Those 2 women.
Oh my God. Well, there you
Oh,
go.
man.
That's our classic back from the game bullshit talk.
I'm going to have nightmares about those women, just like Bart has nightmares about homework.
Very good.
Now, I think I might also have nightmares about this game. I wanted to like it, and there's a lot to like about
Yep,
it.
yep.
But it is obtuse, tough to figure out, but we figured it out.
We did, but obtuse is a really good word to
Yeah,
use, actually.
yeah.
First of all, in Scrabble, and then in second of all in podcasting, because it does perfectly summarize this game. This is unnecessarily tough at times, and you need to figure things on your own. Now, while that can be sometimes a very rewarding experience, and that's sometimes the things that I love about video games, where you're like, you figure it out and you go, oh, I'm the smartest person on the planet.
Yes.
At other times, it can be, I'm banging my head against the wall. What the hell's going on?
I agree with that. Death's Door is an example where I'm like, I don't even know what this game is asking of me most of the time. But when you figure it out, it unfolds in a very beautiful way that feels organic. This just feels like banging your head against the wall until something works, which is something that I did after hearing those two women talk about me at the coffee shop.
Cave my skull in, yeah.
Cave my skull in. So I think that the way that it went in this, it was like, we saw the pages, we tried to collect them.
Yeah.
It didn't work, so we ignored that animation.
We moved off of that.
Until we tried jumping over it or waiting until it landed. Because I thought that we'd walked over the pages after they had landed.
I thought we did too, but it's clear that like sometimes they are dressings. It's the same thing as like the trees or other things off the screen
that you can't interact with.
Yes, and then sometimes they're interacting with it. And I even feel that we only got like 60, 70% of actually the stuff on the screen. I mean, there's way more stuff that we just didn't get.
Yes.
Like the manhole covers. Like there was the sticks and the rocks and something. I'm like, that has to be something.
You would think so, right?
Yeah, like especially in a small processing power like games did in 1992, everything had to be something. Like you don't just throw things out there for no reason. So I will say though, once we figured out a few things, you'll hear it in the gameplay probably. We're like, yeah.
And then, but here's my problem: is once we figured it out and we had that moment of elation, utter euphoric release. Euphoric Finkel. The actor from the Jewish actor from Boston Public. Yeah, exactly. Even when we were in that state of enjoyment of the games, having realized something or figured something out, or the game breaks open with a mini game that we're enjoying, then it throws this level of difficulty during the mini games where it's like, guys, I complain about this in so many games from this era. You cannot expect me as the player to do certain things, whether it's avoiding enemies or being at a certain place at a certain time or reacting to what's on screen quickly and dexterously, when the controls that you give me are not equipped to handle that sort of movement.
Right,
and I'm thinking specifically about the flying level where I'm shooting the slingshot, which I liked. That was fun. I like those sorts of games. It reminds me a little bit of Cuphead, but a fraction of what Cuphead actually is. But I kept finding myself at moments where it's like especially with the radioactive clouds, towards the end of the level, you have these punishing paths you have to take through the level where your character naturally goes up and down. And you have a D-pad, so it's not like you can really control in 16 directions with a joystick where you are at all times. It feels like a health tax. I'm sure there's a hitless run in here somewhere. But there's a hitless run for fucking everything. So don't use that as an excuse. It's just like, every time I'm about to have fun, you throw this arbitrary difficulty at me and makes me feel like you don't want me playing the game as the developer.
Well, for sure. And like, I think what you're talking about too is the Bartman level with when you're above the power plant, the clouds become toxic.
Like Britney Spears used to sing about. That's what that song was about.
Yes. I thought it was a relationship with her father and the...
I don't think that's true.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't sound like it holds any merit because he's doing a pretty good job taking care of her, I think. She needs
Until recently.
Well,
because she's now free, I think.
Oh, he filed to end it.
What a good guy.
Yeah, exactly. All it took was a documentary and a massive movement of human beings and 6 more months.
I understand the error of my ways. Like, oh, yeah, okay, sure. So like in those clouds, we have to, it's kind of like a maze where you're going through like very tight routes. At times, those clouds feel like they're touching. So like, how are you supposed to get through there? And plus, the controls aren't great at the time. D-pads are so very limited at the time. And I would just say the controls are pretty...
Our D-pads are pretty limited as well.
Yeah, they are. That's why, hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. So, yeah, I am right there with you. But I think when we talk about the positive side of it, I think the controls in general are just pretty garbage.
I thought you were going to say, because you said, let's talk about the positive. I think the controls are pretty... I was going to be like, Andrew, I'm quitting this podcast. I will no longer leave you my eggs. The pact is done.
Just scooping them into my mouth. On the positive side, it is a creative game. Like it's a game that in which you're constantly interested in the next turn. What's this? What's that? Oh my goodness. I think this game is full of that. And really, especially in 1992, I would say that's a pretty exciting turn for this.
Right.
And for a franchise and for, a world that would break outside of that and be pretty interesting outside of like the more typical things that you think you'd see.
Yeah, I like that. I think there's not much more to say about the game, generally speaking. So we might as well get into our reviews.
Okay.
You know, we spent a lot of time. We played a lot of the mini games. We spent way too much fucking time in Evergreen Evergreen the Terrorist. Jesus.
Oh my goodness.
Let's get into our review though,
Okay.
Andrew. First of all, you start out because as we mentioned, we didn't play this game as kids. It turns out I did, but I barely remember it. Why don't you give this game a rating out of 4 bits based on what you think you would have thought of it had you played it around that time of 1992 when it came out?
Okay, so I loved The Simpsons back in the day. I actually love The Simpsons now. Not a lot has changed. I am still a stupid child, but in an adult body. I think this game would have struck that little middle note where I think you would have been like, wow, this is kind of hard or frustrating or whatever I would have associated with myself not being able to just fly through this. But it was something I loved, and I think I would have constantly pushed through it. I probably would have beaten this game if I had played it because I would have found a way to do it.
Right.
Also, I had a ton of time as a kid. So
yes.
I would have found a way to do it, but I don't know if I would have been like, that was so much fun.
Yes.
You know, so I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 4.
I like that. Yeah. So my problem is I do think that I would have really enjoyed the mini games and the variety in this game.
Yeah.
Not many games, this can't be understated, at this time had such a variety of gameplay styles within one game.
Ryan Stiles.
Ryan Stiles, exactly. Don't make a call in mockery of my review.
The points don't matter.
The points. That's actually very
true.
Yeah. I don't Drew Carey though. I'm going to give it a review anyway. I think we've done this exact bit. I guess now that I'm saying it out loud.
Oh God, we're really waning Brady here.
So I the thing I struggle with though is what I have. You're looking. We're both.
Well,
thinking,
we're going like name another cast member. I dare you.
Well, you're just copying my jokes now. You're chip off my old block.
Oh God.
What about Heather Ann Campbell? That she was on.
She was?
Yeah, she was on Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Host of our Bitter Rivals. How did this get played?
Greg Proops, is that what it was?
Greg Proops.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. Famous announcer for the pod racers.
Yes.
In Phantom Menace.
Speaking of his cultural touchdown moments of the late 90s. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Everyone, you couldn't wait. It was Proops time, man.
It was Proops, baby.
Oh, man.
Proops.
Proops Mania swept over North America.
Yeah. Get your diapers on. It's Proops season. Okay, so my problem though is as a kid, I don't know that I would have understood enough about the way that the game is being played.
Yeah.
To actually get to the mini games.
Right.
I think I would have given up on the game a lot earlier because I would have been so young. The number of games that I played for 10 minutes and just my little dumb brain couldn't comprehend it. So I just gave up on it completely. Mikey didn't finish back then either.
Oh, wow. It's a common thread.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there's potential there. I don't think it would have been for me necessarily. But if I had gotten to some of the mini games, I would have had a good time. My issue primarily though would have been the pacing of the overworld.
Okay.
Because I was looking for fun, fast. This is Sonic City, right? We're on Sega. I want fast speed and all that. I'm gonna give this one a 2.
Okay.
A very middling score, but basically because there's potential, I don't think I would have been the one to figure it out though.
Right. Okay. Well, there you go. So a 2 and a 2.5 for a 4.5 out of 8. Actually, that's not bad. But if you had said to me, an hour ago, I would have been like, that's not good. The game's obviously I'm like, but I don't really feel that going away. So let's get to our current day scores here. I will begin.
Okay,
I'm really torn here.
Yes.
Because there are certain parts where I want to reward it for being creative, and at the same time, some of its biggest issues, controls, being completely hard to break down and what the hell's going on at any one time, are very associated with a lot of old games from 1992. I wouldn't say that this game is on an island of like issues at the time. Like, wow, that was so weird. No, it's a little relatable. And so that goes away a little bit. And the creativity and some of the newer stuff shines a little bit more. But at the same time, is this a really good game?
Right.
No. So I'm kind of like in a fence between like a 2 and a 1.5, to be honest. And I you know what? I don't want to beat up on it for anything. I'm going to give it a 2.
Okay.
And I'm just going to go with it, even though you're going to walk into a frustrating experience, but you might have these moments of real joy and memorable. Like, we play a lot of games, a lot of stuff we forget. This is one of those ones that I'll remember because of certain elements of it. So I'm going to go with it 2.
Yeah, I hear you there. I keep thinking back to the slingshot level, but the Bartman level, and I enjoyed that. That was actively fun for me.
Right.
It was I like those kinds of games. Once you get the hang of it, that's good. Is that enough to carry me? Because all other moments of the game I actively did not enjoy.
Okay.
And this doesn't have the benefit of being Simpsons nostalgia in the game that some of the more modern games, in the way that some of the more modern games are.
Yeah.
This is very, like, you got Principal Skinner, you got Lisa, you got Jimbo, and Bart, and that's kind of it. Like, otherwise, it may not even be a Simpsons game. There were some of those references which were a little bit fun, but that's not going to carry it over in the way that a worse modern game that has more of the modern references would do for me. So I don't need to beat around with it too much. I do agree that this one it's typical Andrew Tuff. Because
man.
It could go one of two ways. I just think that if
I'll loan it out to you this time.
I'm playing a game, I'll return it, but not in the form that it was given to me.
Okay.
It'll be better.
It's within 30 days though.
Oh, okay.
Proof of receipt, please.
Okay. Yes,
okay. You got it.
Okay. If I want to have fun with a game, I'm going to play something else. If I want Simpsons nostalgia, I'm going to play something else. So this one I'm giving a 1.5 out of 4 to. But I could easily see it going as high as a 2.5 for someone. Maybe even a 3 if you really like all the different mini games and you get to a point where the overworld in Evergreen Terrace is just kind of easy because you memorized it.
Well, you know what? Honestly, we were almost getting there too. Where like in between, like, all right, let's get back to the mini games.
Right.
If we saw the person that scores at a 3 play, we'd be like, oh,
that's how it's supposed to be done.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You know, it's funny too. You're right. Outside of the cameos of the characters, like the bosses, Sherry and Terry, Barney, Waylon Smithers, and you know, Jimbo and Seymour Smithers, those ones. Other than that, you're right. Yeah. It just, the little stuff, like, I guess Jebediah Springfield's head is attacking you, but like a basketball, you know,
right.
Like other stuff, you're like, what is this? So I'm with you on that one. So there you go. 1.5 and a 2, and that's a 3.5. And then that together is 5, 8. 8 out of 16.
8 out of 16. Listen, I said a middling score for my retro score. This is as middling as it gets.
You can't get more middle than this.
You can't get more middling than this. Bet.
Yes, exactly. Jimmy Eat World.
Right.
Yeah, that's the best I got right now.
That's it. And those are the only 3 references.
And that's it. You can go home now.
Or Earth in Frodo's. Frodo's
JR's world. Yeah. Do you think that's what they casually called him? JR, do you have what would you like to drink today? And he's like, tea, probably.
Here's what I don't get about JRR. Jur, as they call him, is how does he have so many names? JRR. That's 4 names.
Yeah, that's 4 names.
That's selfish. He's hoarding names like Smo is hoarding gold.
Well, yeah, he's so many names. Like Pele sitting there going, "Hey, can I have one?" And he's like, "No, I have 4." Cher, Pele,
and Nene are just getting together. Like, we need more names for us.
Yeah, it wouldn't spare a name. No, and he's just like, "No, let's go." You're gonna come after one of my names.
Okay, so in 8, the only thing left is to figure out what awards this game has won. So let's. I hear the oboe warming up. It's similar. The clouds are parting.
Yeah, you hear the saxophone.
Yeah. Okay, so let's let the award ceremony take root.
Okay.
You've been waiting for it all year. The most glamorous award ceremony of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, the Grady's.
Just beautiful.
Wow.
Incredible. I know.
I hope that synced up properly, timing wise.
Sure it did.
And I hope that me just looking off into the distance worked with whatever the drop was at that point in time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because I felt ridiculous doing it.
I'm sure it worked great.
Yes.
All right.
And here's Elliot. Looking fine. Oh, you know what? He's in his Dr. Nick, and he's saying, hi, Mikey.
Hi, everybody. Yeah,
hi, Dr. Elliot.
So you've been listening to us. Good for you.
That's cool.
Choose a new bit next time.
Oh, my God. So I thought, he was going to keep the envelope in the pocket.
Lab coat, yeah.
But he's saying that he has a patient on a gurney, and the heartbeat is sending Morse code through the stethoscope.
Yeah.
And he's going to hear what awards this game won, and then he's just going to tell us. He didn't think about the part where we find out. This is just for him.
Elliot, you could just pass us a note next time.
Yeah.
You don't even, this is a lot.
This is a lot. And
it's too much.
And if you're unwilling to come on camera, this whole bit is for naught. But I guess let's find out what awards this game's won.
All right, what awards does this win?
Crickets. The famous crickets are back.
The famous crickets. Jiminy and the rest.
It's been a while since this used to be every game for us.
That was a while there. It was just every game.
Yeah, and now.
Which, you know what? It's too bad because this game I think will be memorable. Maybe coming out of this month. We'll see. We'll see what next week brings.
Yes.
But I think this will be kind of memorable because this was a big leap. So kind of sucks no awards, but hey, That we don't come up with the awards. We do, but
we also we don't come up with these special awards anyway, because when it doesn't win the traditional ones, we have the participation ribbon awards of the Grady's, so to speak.
Yes.
Andrew, do you have any? Do you have yours?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is going to win the Ralph Wiggum Award because just everything is just tough to understand. It's just hard. Life's hard, man.
Yes.
And for Ralph, poor Ralph, I don't know what he's going to do one day, but it's so common, like this game. Why was everything so tough?
Why did it have to be?
Why?
He had a tough life. We had a tough time playing.
We just wanted to enjoy it.
We just wanted to
go
and,
banana.
And that's why I have a go banana.
Go banana.
I have a similar award actually that I my earpiece has told me that this game is won. It's the I choose a different Simpsons game award because I get that it's Simpsons, I get that it's trying, but there are better options out there.
But if I remember correctly, and you can tell me,
yes,
it is now in second of the 3 games we played for this month of September.
Oh yeah, it has double the score of Simpsons Wrestling.
So Virtual Springfield's number 1.
Yeah, 10.5.
This game was number 2, and then Simpsons Wrestling was number 3
with a 4.
So we'll see. Oh, there you go. Wow, it's kind of working out perfectly. So we'll see next week if something can take the throne or where they fit in the list.
Listen, we haven't pulled any punches. We said from the outset that the last game of September is going to be a game that we know very well. It is Simpsons Hit and Run. The name was escaping me for a second.
I could tell you were like,
I was vamping a little
warming
bit.
up.
But it's Simpsons Hit and Run. I can't wait to play it. We were thinking between that and Road Rage, but Road Rage was a lesser received game. Plus, because they were sued by Sega for being so similar to Crazy Taxi, we're not allowed to play it due to our affinity towards Sega.
Yeah, obviously we're in the bag of Big Sega. So,
yes, we are.
Yeah, so you know what? We've enjoyed September so much. We are continuing it over at the Mushroom Club, patreon.com/Retrograde Podcast. So please follow us over there. But until then, we can't wait to talk to you next week. Thank you so much for listening to the Retrograde Podcast. We love every single one of you, and we can't wait to talk to you soon. My name's Andrew Bascom, and with me, as always, is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself,
Mikey Aaronworth.
This is the Retrograde Podcast.
Game over.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, Dr. Andrew.
Shh. Well, it's the wrong order, but it doesn't matter. Thank you so much for listening to the Retrograde Podcast.
We look forward to recording this podcast all week long, and we hope you guys look forward to listening to it.
You know how we got into retro video game podcasting? For the money and the babes? We're really in it for the ratings and reviews.
Money is ratings. Reviews are babes.
Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you enjoy podcasts.
For any business inquiries, you can always email the retrogradepodcast@gmail.com.
You can find us on Twitter @RetrogradePod.
And you can find Andrew on Twitter @RetrogradeAndy.
And then Mikey @RetrogradeMikey.
Instagram @The Retrograde Podcast. And remember, find us on Patreon, patreon.com/The Retrograde Podcast for all of your non-essential but very much enjoyable content. We don't ask that you give us much, apart from joining our Patreon. But what we do ask is that you join this community that we've grown. Also, give us some of your blood.
Yeah. I want some of your hair in a bag. Thanks for listening from your 2 dads.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
Man, it feels like everything is coming alive and trying to kill me.